Well, hi everybody, and welcome to another live Britain's Hidden History. Well, I'm being calling these semi-live because they're basically a rerun of Ross's work, and luckily we've got quite a lot of it. And it's very sunny in Wales still. It's been about 7 weeks now. It's quite miraculous, that is. So today we have Arnie playing his violin and Xavi and Leon on the piano, videos we've seen before. The boys have been very busy practicing and playing cricket, and the weather has been great for the sport over here in Tontague. And Angie has spent quite some time watching amidst her busy schedule of learning to drive and burning the midnight oil on BHH work. On the show today we have a shortened rerun version of Ross's live show number 25, and as part of our summer season, giving me time off on the editing front. That's the theory anyway. So Angie has news, and attention history enthusiasts. We have some exciting news to share. Wilson and Blackett's captivating digital books are now available for you to dive into, uncover the hidden secrets of King Arthur and more. Immerse yourself in the rich narratives and connect with your Welsh heritage like never before. Don't miss out on this exclusive opportunity to grab your digital copies today and embark on an extraordinary journey of discovery. Visit our website and get ready to unlock the past with Wilson and Blackett's digital editions. So Arturius Rex Discovered and the 3 big black books have all been put onto PDF. And don't forget, there was also the 17th century dictionary, which was made available as a PDF recently. I think the dictionary is free, but the PDF copies of the books are available for purchase on www.cymroglyphics. Let's dive into some videos of the boys playing. Well done, lads. That's great to see such talent developing. And Ross used to take videos of the rugby and the cricket, but we could be here for a long time if we waited to watch the cricket. Last week we announced that there will be a tribute to Ross in Bedwas Working Men's Hall, and here's the latest from Angie about it. Big announcement, folks. The highly anticipated event, Unveiling Britain's Hidden History, celebrating Ross Broadstock's legacy, is almost here. Tickets will be available next weekend. Stay tuned to our channel for updates. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to uncover Britain's hidden history and best kept secrets. Grab your tickets and join us for an unforgettable experience. History awaits. So at this point then, let's take a look at Xavi's promotional video.
That will take you on a journey through Britain's history. I'm Xavi, and I'm thrilled to invite you to an unforgettable event. Get ready to be inspired as we delve into the untold stories that have shaped our nation. Our chosen venue is the captivating Bedwas Workmen's Hall, a cherished gem nestled within the resplendent Caerphilly area. This historic theatre holds profound significance to us as it pays homage to my father's unwavering passion for its rich heritage. We have an extraordinary lineup of speakers, including Marshall Abraham, Legolas, and John Picture, and the acclaimed author Rob Shaw, known for his book Architecture of Power. Stay tuned as we announce even more incredible speakers. Prepare to be captivated as our esteemed speakers share their research and insights, paying tribute to my father, Ross Broadstock. Discover how his passion ignited their own love for Britain's history, and get ready to embark on a journey of knowledge and discovery. Get ready for an enchanting experience with live music. Talented musicians will perform captivating songs that my father loved or even composed himself. Let the melodies transport you through time, connecting you to your heart of history and igniting your imagination. Engage with the brilliant authors who have brought history to life. Meet them in person during our special book signing event. Don't miss the opportunity to have your copy signed, including Rob Shaw's insightful book Architecture of Power and Marshall Abraham's fascinating work The Great Migration of Britain. We have made tremendous progress in uncovering forgotten tales and inspiring a deep love for British history. But our journey doesn't end here. We are eager to embark on further explorations and discoveries, and we need your participation. Together, let's make a lasting impact of preserving and celebrating our heritage. Mark your calendars for the 9th of September, a Saturday from 1:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join us at Bedwas Workmen's Hall. Tickets are priced at £18 per person and will soon be available online. Your ticket includes access to all presentations, live music, and a delightful buffet with hot drinks. Your support matters in celebrating my father's incredible legacy. Join us in person to experience this unique event. Purchase your tickets and attend the event and share our mission with others. Together, let's make a lasting impact and celebrate the richness of British history. Thank you for joining me today and being a part of this exciting journey into Britain's history. Remember to mark your calendars and get ready for an event filled with knowledge, music, and celebration. See you on 9th of September at Bedwas Workmen's Hall. Hedwch.
Don't buy another pair of glasses until you've seen what this new invention can do.
Well done, Xavi. Well, that was brilliant, wasn't it? As I said last week, age 12. Well, very good work. And here I am trying to flick between screens. Not so easy at my age. So, the tickets will be on sale next weekend. Keep your eye on the Facebook group page for the updates as they come out. In the comments on the YouTube channel, in response to Bob Morgan's presentation on the Ford of the Soldiers a couple of weeks ago, we had a number of interesting comments. Bob hopefully has read these, because he does YouTube, but he doesn't do Facebook. So Ivian Wynne Williams said he's loving your work, people. Sorry I missed the chat, but I'm so pleased that the BHH torch is still burning brightly. And then Ivian opened up a marvellous debate on Bob's work and the findings at Mynna the Gaea. He says that with respect, Mynna the Gaea is certainly the burial place of those betrayed royals and the slaughtered nobility of Britain, as it was where Emrys Lledig carried their remains to inter them in all honour. And I'm sure the funeral gave way to the name Place of Drunkenness, but it was not the site of the so-called peace conference, as this was well recorded as a noble hall somewhere in modern-day Wiltshire. So Ivian goes on in great detail then to explain his version of where the peace conference took place, and also various tombs and various barrows. And he goes into some detail of this horrific event, the Night of the Long Knives, in his LinkedIn article entitled Brad y Chyllr. That's not how you pronounce it, is it? Hirian. And it may be of interest to members and new viewers alike. So Ivian has a LinkedIn pages, www.linkedin.com/pulse/ and then we go in with the Welsh, Brad-Cyllr-Hirian, or dash rather, dash win. Win-Williams. So you will be able to find Ivian's work on LinkedIn. And Marshall Abrahams then responded to Ivian's article by saying, "This has always bothered me too. When it comes to locating the true sites of ancient fortresses and battles and other happenings, Wilson and Blackett are usually to be trusted. But on this occasion I agree with you, Ivian. Why on earth go to all that trouble and treachery if you're not going to press home your advantage?" Well, Marshall, who is nobody's fool, goes into great detail then on the comments. Talks about Stonehenge, Slaughter Barrow, and Mynna the Gaea fits better. Bob's revised topographical examination of Mynna the Gaea fits better than Alan Wilson and Barham Blackett's. The theory still fails to take into account of the likelihood of the thing. As we usually do, we will have to make up our own minds. But thank goodness for the opportunity to do so. Yes, well done, Bob. If Wilson and Blackett had not gone into the background of this massacre, we would probably not be discussing it in detail today, and so arriving closer to the truth. And now Marshall is off to study the Ordnance Survey maps. So that was a great discussion ensuing in response to Bob's presentation, which I thought was a fabulous presentation, and I loved the descriptions of from the topography, because you could draw conclusions. And so there might be a slight difference of opinion between the learned people of the Britain's Hidden History Forum. In response then to the previous week's or the later weeks. I think it might have been the later weeks, sorry. Last week's semi-live show, Ross's rerun, Paul Jenkinson brought out some great points, and he started off talking about religion. He says, "I'm not a Christian, but I do study metaphysics. Regarding religion, there are Christians that say Satan is the god of many names. And Albert Pike said Yeshua was the Masonic name for Satan in his Morals and Dogma book. So Yahweh, Jehovah could easily be other names for Satan along with Baal, etc. Interesting. Now this is going to upset people with cherished beliefs. But any referencing to Christing, fire, eternal flame is Luciferian doctrine. I believe Wilson and Blackett suggested that Jesus taught original Buddhism. The only person they can speak ancient languages and translate them and has an extensive knowledge of original Buddhism is Ken Wheeler. If anyone is offended by what I have posted, then please remember, we, us, are not our beliefs. And Paul's intention is not to upset people. Family friendly forum this. Very interesting, and I love the way Paul goes on to discuss metaphysics through a variety of posts across a number of different days. Talking about the pentagrams and oxygen, he's talking about, you name it, there's a lot of information in there. And Paul ends after a bunch of responses talking about the Fibonacci spiral. They're saying it's very cool to end with the Fibonacci spiral. There is a grand symphony and harmony in the physics and mathematics around us. Ether is very interesting too, from dark matter and quarks. It's proof they knew that there was something else at play. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on Taoism from your studies. I'm not sure if that's directed to one of the comments. Sorry if this is off topic, but I'd also been looking at the Navajo teachings, looking for history uncorrupted by church or politics. And Paul ends with, the Fibonacci is just a spiral representation of the rotating magnetic field. The ratio is between the ether at rest, beyond existence, and the disturbance of the ether that is becoming and forms our universe. Dark matter doesn't exist, but it's a name they give the ether because they have a huge issue with the ether being beyond existence. Mathematics can only describe and not explain, so it has its flaws. I don't read Taoism or Navajo teachings, but am aware of them. That was Paul's comment, not mine. I haven't read any Navajo teachings, but I've read Hopi teachings, the Hopi prophecies. I've got some Taoism books, but I'm not totally au fait with Taoism, but I know it's very natural. Paul adds that he remembers reading through Vedic texts, learning about ether, and it's why he'd asked about the other beliefs. And he says the commentary was all very fascinating, and thank you for answering. Ether is different spellings. Paul spells it with an A, E. The ancient Greeks usually spelt with just the E for ether, and it's the same power, form, energy as prana of Indian yoga systems, which I studied when I was young. It's also the same as the ki of the universe, Ki, of Japanese martial arts, and Reiki, spiritual healing in Japanese form. And it's also the same as Qi, as in the Chinese Tai Chi Chuan, Qigong, spelled in a variety of ways. It's the same stuff. I practiced martial arts when I was younger, loved the mind over matter of Aikido, with the way with harmony of ki, and I loved using that energy. It was just marvellous to use it. They had loads of tech exercises that you could try out to show the movement of that energy from the other side of the universe through you and out of you, and you could use it. And you could use it in the martial art context, or Aikido had a healing side, and you could use it in the healing. It's practical application of the chakras of the Indian and Native American systems, the Indian yogi system, chakras. Don't know if anybody's heard of those. They're supposed to be vortices of energy. But you focus on a chakra in the Aikido to do the exercises, to demonstrate your command of the key energy. Worth looking into if you've never experienced anything other than being a blood and bone, muscle, flesh, blood human being, and never experienced your true energy, then it's like the Britain's hidden history. It is another truth. And working with that energy, the ether, the chi, the prana, and your breath and the spirit, working with it proves its existence. Same as Alan Wilson and Warren Blackett opened a lot of our eyes to the fact that British history has been hidden. I started finding various truths, and Britain's hidden history was just another of the successive truths that I've unearthed in my long years of seeking. And as I say at the end of the shows, if you seek, you will find. But you've actually got to make the effort to look. I don't think there's anybody actually officially responding to the comments on the YouTube channel. But keep them coming, because as we've seen with the comments over Bob's show and the last rerun, people do comment, and they do reply to each other, and they do open up an interesting debate amongst the commentators. So if you're posting such a detailed post in the comments, like Ivian did and Marshall did, and also Paul, then why not put them in the Facebook group page somewhere? Maybe the post would just be a short, it would be the copied post, wouldn't it? Just copy and paste it into a post and let it disappear. But the beauty of putting it into Facebook is it may disappear off the live feed, but if you hashtag it, it'll be there for anybody to find in subsequent research. So why not put a large comment like Ivian's and Marshall's into Facebook and hashtag the comment for the benefit of future research. Thank you very much. Paul Hartel sent me an email detailing the hashtag format. If anybody needs it, we can put it up again. So talking about Marshall Abrahams, we've had a message from Marshall, and she says, "We're off to Ruvo di Puglia," I think that's Italian, today, and taking the ferry from Bari, that's definitely Italy, to Patras, I think that's Greece, on Sunday. Again, been there before. So for the third time running, I'll miss the show. I'm so sorry. Well, we're sorry too, Marshall, because we love your company. Please give my very best wishes to everybody. You just did then. And tell them we're in the footsteps of Brutus. A video will follow once we're settled in Greece. Now that's good news, isn't it? The prospect of a video from Marshall following the Brutus story right at the beginning of the migration. And we think that's good news because we know the video will contain great information and some great sites, sightseeing sites. I'm sure there are others out there who could make similar video content for the channel. Say it every week, don't I? It's easy to get them to me via WeTransfer. For example, just message me on the BHH Facebook group page. You can find me under members, and I'll give you my email address. Or maybe ask me to arrange a Zoom session with you if you've got something to say and show me by way of presentation, which we can record. There's a ready-made video then, little editing involved. We have a couple of videos being made by some supporters right now, and hopefully the summer break will allow the time for these to be finished and premiered in the next season. You know who you are, guys. Carry on the great work and get the job finished. Thank you very much. So let's take a short video interlude with one that I took whilst out on a National Gardens Scheme Gardens opening for Charity Day. The charity has raised millions of pounds by people opening their private gardens for garden lovers. You can get a book from most garden centres in Glamorgan, Gwent, for example, local to me, but they're all over the country, or you can go on the NGS website and what gardens are open. And we went to a whole bunch of big stately home type properties in Monmouthshire 2 years ago, I think it was. A fabulous time. You would never get in to see such houses. You don't go in the house, nor would you see their gardens, and some of their gardens being laid down by, you know, the famous landscape gardeners. Wonderful. So last Sunday we attended the Craigie. My Welsh spelling is pretty dreadful, sorry about that. Garden open day. They had 4 gardens open, and there was a new one, and I was surprised to find that smack bang in the middle of Craigie was a pre-Tudor farmhouse hidden away in the housing estate behind fences or hedges. He's got his own garden, quite a nice garden. I managed to catch the owner of the property describing its history to a garden appreciator. The history of the house is not generally in our timescale, although it might slot somewhere into Rob Shaw's book, The Architecture of Power, which is most definitely about the Stuarts who followed the Tudors. I hope you enjoy it, and if it is out of time scale, say la vie.
Larry Davis, he was from Pentech. And this is a regular magazine that they used to produce.
The magazine.
Yeah, so they take all different bits of history, local history. This was the one that focused on this house. So welcome to Castlemonach Farm. This is the old part of the house. So this is 1400. Yeah. So that's and it's built as a medieval hall house. So the inside of there would have been open to the roof.
Right. Yeah.
And this was a transverse corridor on top of which would have been a minstrel's gallery to look down into the main hall. And then they put a ceiling in about 1600, which I've learned recently was because of the development of the chimney. Chimneys, I didn't know, but chimneys are a modernist invention. The idea that you can actually have a brick structure on the outside of the house with the fire, it will take the smoke up. Once you developed that, you didn't need to have a big open room with the smoke going out the roof. So there's lots of houses in around 1500 to 1600. They start filling in the first floor, so they don't need the space above. Even quite modest houses, little houses had that. I didn't know. This is something I learned fairly recently. This is 1400, and then the family get serious money by the time we get to 1600 because of the development of coal in Tillicoid Woods, and eventually the next generation they own the Garth as well, with the tin and the coal from there. And
so was that an
arch? That is an archway that goes through to the other side, so cart and horses could come through here. Which kind of makes me feel there probably was another range of buildings down here on this side. Otherwise, why would you bother to sort of go through the middle of your house when you can go around the outside? I don't know. But anyway, we don't know that for sure.
They very much did it though. When mind you, it's not the same here. When houses were sort of like balanced, weren't
yes,
they?
Yes,
and
exactly.
they used to have the stable yards. And
yep,
stuff
that's right.
Like
So it may have been a courtyard, like that, which is better for defence purposes. The windows, there is one Elizabethan window on the back, which still has its steel struts in it, so it was defended.
Yeah.
Against, well, times were fairly rough in the 1600s. So, and then the family gets more and more prosperous in the 1500s, 1600s, and eventually it's inherited by a daughter, a single woman called Cecile, and she marries someone from London who goes off to be Chancellor of England. And then this just gets left behind and is tenanted from about 1700 till 1984.
Oh, wow.
So that's why it's in good original condition, because with tenanted farms, no one ever does anything. You know, they don't do it. They just, as long as the roof's on and it's dry, then the owners don't spend any money on it. So it's just kind of looked after physically, but left as it is really. And then all the land around here was sold in about 1984. The last, well, not the last, of course not the last, another estate was built here, and the farmers then left. They gave the house to the farmers, and who had enough, then sold it and had enough money to buy a small farm on the road for themselves.
So is this your house?
Yeah.
When did you buy it?
About 30 years. Yeah.
So did you buy it from the...
Not quite. No, there was another family who lived here for 5 years in between, and they did lots of very good work in conservation work. But when we came, there was lots more to do. So this medieval roof, which is the old roof, on the other side it's made of stone tiles. But that was the biggest challenge, that had to be taken off completely and restarted again. So that's a big job. And it's all, because it's all listed, so you can't do anything. You can't do anything. No, you actually have to do it back exactly as it was. So there we are. That's the history.
That's excellent. Thank you very much. That's brilliant.
Thank you very much.
You're very
I love
welcome.
the roses. I have a scent for once.
Good. Good.
And what's your name?
John Furlong.
John Furlong,
Yeah.
the architect, surveyor? No, that's another guy.
There's someone else.
Somebody
no,
else.
that's there. No, just
Roger, well, I won't go into the rooms there with my camera. I'll just walk through the passage.
no, that's fine. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Val. Thank you very much for being on camera.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that. You always get my funny little noises off camera, don't you? I'm walking around with it. And good job no hills were involved. You'd have a lot of wheezing then as well, I expect. I put it down to hay fever. So that was quite interesting, and Gary Taylor just pointed out that Insold Gardens are a really nice place to visit in top end of Llandaff, with a great more modern history. You can go around the house and the gardens there, and they've got a cafe, and they've got a memorial to a mining disaster which put an end to the Insols. I think it did anyway. They bring a piece of coal down from the mine, or the area, every year to lay in the memorial. Very interesting. Has anybody else got a short video like that we could have put out? I've got my roving reporter Andrew James Reeves working on a project, so that's why he hasn't put any video shorts in for me lately. He's working on a project. So now we arrive at the time to play the main feature, which is an almost full rerun of Ross's live show number 25.
Lovely graphics this week. Look at this. So one of the things I wanted to show everyone there, I got a hair house last week, and that's how my hair was until about a couple of hours ago, I suppose. It's all gone now, isn't it? I look much healthier last week. I look a bit peaky this week. It's been a very hard week. And I would like to apologise. I've hardly returned any emails, replied to anything. So don't feel as though you've missed out, particularly if you sent me something. We had a bit of a problem with the next book that's coming out, which we'll go on to in a second, The Architecture of Power, which is due at the printers on Wednesday. We had some problems, and the whole book needed laying out again. And I had to redo lots of illustrations, the whole stuff. And every waking hour since Tuesday has been getting the book sorted, which it now is, apart from the last couple of things. So that's a week behind schedule, which pushes everything else back, and also means I haven't been on Facebook much or replied to any emails or messages or anything. So I will be catching up, okay? So just show that picture there. For those who know, it's about my wife's baking. Gorgeous loaf of bread that was. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Try and bake your own food if you can. And if you're not aware, you'll see this is our logo and all the books and everything. This is the mouth, which is someone pronouncing or proclaiming, which in Old Welsh there is roch, R-H-O-C-H. And then this is sicrai, which is two fastening bolts, like that, which hold together the big stones and things like this. Are used a lot in Egyptian building, which is sicrai. So you've got to speak with certainty, which is roch, sicrai. So when you're making names and words using chiroglyphics or hieroglyphics, use the first sound. So Rossi. So lucky me, I've got a really cool cartouche. And there it is, in bread. And we're going to make Titian lap, I think next week was the plan, wasn't it? Right, okay. So first things first, our special mention here, because this is, after all, Remembrance Sunday. And it's been difficult to do anything this year, I know, but anyway, still respect that. And one group I want to mention is the Way of the Warriors, which is not some fighting group or recruiting soldiers, nothing like that. There's some members in our group who've been fantastic members, and that's Graham particularly, and Rob. They don't ask for any favours, they're very helpful and supportive to me. We've been to see some of the sites together over the last few months. Absolutely top, peaceful, great caring people. I think they're all ex-military, and what they do is on a voluntary basis. This is one of those big charities, like when I do the poppy thing. Oh, you lost your internet, Riani. I hope I'm still on. Oh, excuse me, while I just check quickly to make sure I am still working. I think it's that computer, Arnie, I think.
Yeah, but in this computer you...
Yes, it is. That's why I've moved to this computer, because we're having problems with that one, aren't we? Hang on. Oh my goodness.
It always goes down.
Okay, alright. So I need to put this back on. Sorry about this.
Current slide.
Thank you. Come on, slideshow. Oh, resume slideshow. There it is. Special button for it. Okay, so it's not like one of the big charities. They don't get money from the Poppy Appeal. There's not like shareholders and directors and all that. This is a small group of motivated ex-soldiers or military. And I'll just tell you something about themselves. So the Way of the Warrior website, they've got a website. I just put the web address up, because otherwise you come in via the question thing. I'll put it on the link below. So the Way of the Warrior is a pioneering healing program dedicated to supporting former military and emergency service personnel to recover their sense of self, reclaim hope and happiness in their lives, and restore their rightful place in family and society. We are here to help address and resolve issues related to post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, a mental health condition that's triggered by a terrifying event, either experiencing it or witnessing it. PTSD can wreak havoc in the lives of those suffering with this condition, and most often affects the lives of their loved ones too. So PTSD presents many different symptoms that can cause extreme discomfort and suffering in daily life: poor sleep patterns, flashbacks, nightmares, intrusive memories, avoidance, negative changes in thinking and mood, changes in physical and emotional reactions, lack of concentration, severe anxiety and depression. I think depression being one of the ones most known, which obviously can lead to terrible things people do to themselves. So through an integrative and holistic approach, and this is what attracts me to this, it's not using any sort of medication, it's not the mainstream healthcare, if you like, which I'm not saying people shouldn't go to those as well. But what this is a very much a holistic approach where they go on retreats and spend time together and, going through the ways in which they look at this, very caring, very talking based. And they address the full spectrum of healthcare. So it's holistic, meaning dealing with the whole person. So rather than just being a therapy thing, you look at the whole person, physical things, you can try and eat and all sorts. I'm not an expert in this at all, but I have talked to them about it, and it sounds wonderful, and they've got a wonderful success rate. So we provide a wide range of specialist treatments incorporating the very best of modern medical expertise, functional medicine, traditional plant medicines, and shamanic healing. They haven't asked me for anything, I haven't asked them for anything. I'm just sharing awareness, and if there is anyone out there who this does appeal to, it's not a fundraiser, nothing like that, then please get in touch with them, or I can forward an email to one of the guys who really are fantastic. So there we are, something slightly different on Remembrance Sunday. Okay, so there we are, there's the book, the thing which has been, you haven't seen much of me this week, have you, Arnie? Well, apart from sitting right there, typing away on the book. And there you go, there's the cover, thought you might like to see it. And this is what's going to go off to the printers on Wednesday, fingers crossed. There's the last couple of pages just to sort out. And as it says here, I'll just run quickly, the clash of beliefs that drove the City of London to take the crown and then the world. This will be going on advance sale on the website with £5 off for advance orders. So to help us pay for the print run, and then it'll go to the normal price, which will be £19.99 from then on. So if you look at this here, it says, so it starts off, well actually this isn't the final version. Anyway, it's slightly tweaked. This should be all in red across here. Oh, little things like that. In 1666, Londoners suffered in 1 year plague, fire, famine and war. So if you think we're having it bad now, okay? Was this a coincidence, acts of God, or the biblical scale revenge of a bitter king who saw himself and his executed father as gods on earth? So if you're not sure what we're referring to here, this is Charles II. Charles I lost the English Civil War, chopped his head off, and then we had Oliver Williams, or Oliver Cromwell, as he's sometimes known, and he was the Lord Protector, which is portrayed always as a kind of dictator. Although if you look at it, you find he actually had some royal dynastic claims to the British royal family, which is rather bizarre and doesn't get mentioned anywhere. So anyway, what this book first of all explores is, as it says here, the official parliamentary report declared the Great Fire as arson, and that the royal family were also involved. Were the other calamities also planned? And this book is quite shocking when it looks at how the fire was deliberately started, and could they deliberately carried out the plague, the wars and the famine. As it says, this is not what we are taught in school. Now, some people actually rejoiced in these disasters, seeing an opportunity to rebuild the city along Masonic lines and make London a living temple to the ancient gods. This is fascinating. And Robert Shaw, who has been on the show, he's been in for an interview, talking about the history side of it, but his own personal expertise, and is what he does for professionally, is looking at learning difficulties and how the brain works, dealing with like what you might call dysfunctional children, or with learning behavioural problems, and then he deals with some of the leading experts in the country on this, and you get a real insight with this book on how memory works, how to look at things, and how these people back in the 17th century seem to have been thinking, and what their plans were. And my goodness, these guys played for keeps. They were playing for all the marbles. If you lost, you got killed, and all your supporters got killed. And it leads to some really startling findings in the book, which I'm not going to give away, and read the book for that, to see how it affects modern London. So I'll just read this. So some rejoice in these disasters, see an opportunity to rebuild the city along Masonic lines and make London a living temple to the ancient Egyptian gods of wealth, trade and prosperity. They didn't get it all their own way, because Londoners being what they are, even though they're burnt out and being taxed and being starved, they still lived in tents and gradually built up, and we stand up this higgledy-piggledy London. But you can still see some of what they were planning, and it's got some really I can't give it away. Anyway, it's not just making nice pretty straight lines, okay? And he's a great storyteller. There's some humour in there, some cartoons, illustrations, stuff like that. So he shows that the outcome can still be seen today. So this is the big question, burning what's going on in the world at the moment. Would rulers really inflict death, disease, war and famine on their own people just to achieve power or their objectives? Essential reading in this new era of cataclysmic events. And I'd love to see some of the comments on that. Just a reminder, got some big sales pitch. St. Patrick identified, sales are going okay on that one, so we could do something for you more, please, Barham's book. And thank you for the feedback. I just want to remind everyone, I have no editorial input on this book at all. I didn't see it till you saw it. We don't edit or publish this one, we're just reselling this one, at the moment exclusively, on behalf of Barham, okay? We're just resellers. Whereas the first book, we are actually editing, publishing the whole caboodle. Mentioned St. Patrick's Rock, the CD's also out there. You enjoy the music. Right, okay. Now, here's a curious one. How's the comments doing there, Please be quiet this evening.
Nothing.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, people are coming along. Good, it's all well.
Everyone's saying it's a cool cover.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it is a cool cover, isn't it? Yeah, thank you. Took a lot of time. Painstaking. Dot by dot. Right. What's his name? Mr. Dingle, isn't it? Oh, I do apologise. I haven't been online much this week. But I did see this one. It's a strange, well, what do you think it is? Is it a drawing? It's on a stone. It was mentioned in the Facebook group during the week. And it caught my eye because I had a quick glance on the group all week. And he said he's not sure where it is. Anyway, it is. It's quite old. It's older than... it goes back to when Sunderland last won something. And I think I said, I don't think it's that old. Partly as a little joke of mine, ho ho ho, like Cardiff City do much every week. So anyway, so we've got this situation here. What is going on here? Now, there were a few suggestions. It didn't really go very far, but I'm hoping... Is Steve Willits online? Because Steve, you sent me most of what you're going to send me, but not all of it. And he was gave me a quick call early this afternoon to mention there are... see, my mind's working live, as it were, now, because I was a bit busy this afternoon to prepare too much on this. But he was saying there's examples, the ancient Babylonian, where you've got the face in the body, as it were, and it could be something like that. So if people got suggestions, I'd be very interested to see them, because in putting this book together, I noticed it's one of the things you see, like on gargoyles and stuff. You see some of those with no head. There's a body here. I don't know, maybe it's just an octopus or something. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't know, but apparently it's ancient. It's in Britain, and we don't really know what it is. What's up? Oh, sorry, it's just bashing things for the fun of it. Right, now, this is the highlight of this week. It is going to be a slightly shorter show this week. Like I say, because I've been flat out on the book. And there's so many things I want to talk about. And I just want to do them proper justice. Right, now, first of all, we do a little bit more about the Babylonian star signs in South Wales, okay? Because we've been having massive progress on this, and Steve Willits has been doing more fantastic work. And the other thing I want to mention is looking to organise, with the lockdown in Wales officially finishing, I don't know, midnight tonight, or maybe it's already finished, 7 o'clock, I don't know.
Apparently finished like midday tomorrow or something.
Midday tomorrow now?
I don't know.
I thought it was midnight tonight.
Probably.
No one really knows. As you can see, no one really knows. But anyway, for this week, we've had some requests in the group to go and do some exploring, maybe have some group walks. Obviously, social distancing, all that kind of stuff. And there's plenty of places we can go as long as we stay in Wales, all right? Now, one of the things we could look into is the work Steve's doing. I've got a few suggestions, and please put some comments on the comments where you think would be cool to go, all right? Because there's so many places we could go to. I am feeling so unfit. I've just been stuck in this chair for weeks. I need some exercise. I got my first boot camp back on Tuesday. I promised I'd go. That's going to be tough. And I want to do some walks, all right? So, okay, so what we have here...
Midnight tonight, someone says.
It is definitely midnight tonight. So there we are. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be up a hill somewhere just get my legs stretched. And probably not be able to breathe halfway up. So be back. Remember the old videos I used to do? Every video, the first half of the video, all you can hear is, and then I sort of get my second wind and a little bit better. Right, okay. Now what we have here, I have got some text. It's a bit new for me. I don't understand all of it. I'm going to throw it out there, show where some of the research is going. Again, we're looking at this idea of the Babylonian star map. Now, if you go to South Wales, you'll see, not just South Wales, so I don't think it's just a Welsh thing. There seems to be one definitely in the north of England. Speaking to Johnny, we need to get together. Johnny, work that out. Heaven knows I'll be able to go up there and go around those. We need to do that. And the north of England, there seems to be one in Dorset area. I'll say a special shout out to Steve. I think there's some other people I had to thank as well. Yes, sorry, Mark Austin and Kerry. They volunteered. I've been sending them to collate the information the typists are putting together. Thank you very much for that. It's very important. We're going to get that book out as soon as possible. I ain't quite finished the news. I hate going back and forth. But this book, as you see, Architecture of Power is going out. Then Odyssey right behind it. Thank you to all the volunteers who've done the typing, sent it back. Mark and Kerry are now going to collate that, and that'll form the first part of the book. And if anyone's typed just a few pages each, they will have seen how fascinating it is. It really is eye-opening. And what that goes through is the whole background to Christianity, really, and Jesus, all that stuff. And then second half of the book, how the crucifixion was staged and how everything ended up coming back to Britain. Okay, sorry, slight diversion there. I'm wandering all over the place tonight. My brain is fried, I think. What are you up to, Just amusing yourself, right? Okay. Right, so there, if you don't know, this is the Blorange. There's Abergavenny, so I hope Rob and Graham and all those who know this area are watching this. What Steve is working out here is, the first thing to look at is what's called the ecliptic. Now, I'm just going to jump to me a second. Have a bit more screen room to try and explain the ecliptic. Because it's not an easy one. Oh, where's the globe? Where's the globe gone?
What is your dad?
Do you know where the globe is? No, it's not to hand. It was here. We're going to tidy up. Never tidy up, all right?
No clue.
Right, never tidy up. If you imagine this is a globe, my amply sized fist, the situation you have is if we're in the northern hemisphere. This is the globe. There's the North Pole. All right. If you're in the northern hemisphere, so I understand it, from there, your line of sight will be across like this, like that. All right. You can't see this bit because the planet's in the way. Okay, unless you go for flat Earth and all that, which is a different thing altogether. But based on the global model, from this point, that'll be a line of sight. So the lowest stars you're going to see are this part of the sky. Okay? You can't see down here because the planet's blocking you off. Now, as you go through the year, and the Earth wobbles, and the seasons change, this line of sight will gradually move. And oh, another planet just appeared, and then a bit more appeared, a bit more appeared, a bit more appeared. As you get to the height of summer, then that'll be the most you can see. So at different times of the year, I'm simplifying it, and I know it's not exactly like that, but it does give you an idea, okay? If that's your line of sight, at one point, you can't see this part of the sky. You just can't see it. Another part of the year, don't forget it's rotating and wobbling, so it's complicated. This will come down like that. So this bit which you couldn't see, you now can see, okay? Now, as these stars start to appear on the horizon, that's how you get them distributed throughout the year, and that's how you start to form things like the zodiac. Depends when these certain stars will appear on the horizon, and that's the ecliptic. It's a little bit, don't look it up on Wiki, but that's why again that's pretty close to how it works. Also within that, you have wherever you are, even going round and round, middle of winter with the lowest possible position for viewing, you've still got where this line of sight goes. There's this circle here, those stars in that circle, wherever you are in the northern hemisphere, whatever time of year, there's a certain part of the constellations you're always going to see. That's the permanent part of the constellations, okay? that gets very interesting, because if you look back right through ancient Babylonian religions, and some of this is looking now some of the unpublished work by Wilson and Blackett, which will be coming up next year, hopefully, another pile of stuff. And it also ties in with the book about Christianity. You will see the permanent stars. And what they refer to then is what's called the tetramorph. So you've got the four things. So you've got the man, the eagle, the lion, and the bull. And if you join those four stars together in the sky, you get a cross, which could be or seems to be the leading into Christianity, creating a cross with the sun in the middle. Okay, the sun as in Son of God or Son, and there's your four. One's Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. And it's curious, if you look at the order, everyone knows Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, but that's not the order they were written or the order they should appear, and seems to be a reference, again, to this magic cross in the sky, okay? So, what becomes important then, if you go way back, is to look at this, around this, what's called the elliptic or ecliptic, because eclipse means to disappear, okay? So if you've got a star here, and you can observe it, and then the angle takes it below, it's now hidden, all right? So it's a bit of a long way around, but I mean, none of this is, I hope that helps, because it's going to make a lot more sense when you bear that in mind, okay? And that's why I try and think about it, because this is quite a new subject to me as well. But it's I'm going to get directly back to Wales Britain in two different ways. Again, this book I'm recommending, which has nothing to do with me, I don't publish it, I'm not going to commission anything, is this one, seems to be very good. Working my way through that for fun, I had much chance this week. Although immediately, once you start doing this kind of thing, you read books differently, as you should. I've learnt this, or tried to learn it, from Alan Wilson. When you read something, you say, oh, that's interesting. No, really read it and think, where does that come from? Where does that idea work? I mean, from these kind of situations, I mean, I have issues with the whole translation of cuneiform language. You know, we've redone hieroglyphs. I say we, Wilson and Blackett did it, I just wrote a book on it. And I think we could do cuneiform as well. If anyone's interested in cracking cuneiform, the ancient Babylonian written script, please, that'd be great. Same with ancient Hebrew, I think that's being read incorrectly. But even saying that, same as the hieroglyphs, you can still work out, even using an incorrect system, you can work out a lot of it. So what Steve's been doing, which is really clever stuff, is working out where in South Wales, and there are other ones, but he's specifically dealing with South Wales, where is this ecliptic? So if you're on a certain point, what you have to find is an observation point, the centre point, and as you look around, different times of year, certain stars are going to appear and disappear, and you're going to mark out where they are. And then this becomes like a sort of, it's like a calendar, if you like. And then you get planets ascending and exalting and all these different phrases, which I don't really understand at the moment. It just means going up and down, really. And planets moving in different areas and all that. But the key thing is to work out where these on the ecliptic are. And amazingly, if you haven't seen videos on this before, it's fascinating. You know, you've got where the stag should be. It's not just the 12 round the edge. All of them, apart from this very central number of stars, all appear and disappear. And you've got things like, for example, the stag, which in the old Babylonian is Caerphilly, and it's would you believe it or not, it's right over Caerphilly. There's things like that. There's loads and loads of names, and put together a whole huge star map. Now, one of the places, and by amazing coincidence, it wasn't set up at all like this. By amazing coincidence, someone on the Britain's Hidden History group today, or might be a couple of days ago, I'm trying to catch up, was asking, where is Mars on the star map in South Wales, all right? So I'd like, what we're asking for, some help from all those people out there to look for a place name in Southeast Wales that would probably be with mouth, M-A-W-R-T-H. I'll give you some clues out there, the similarities work. We got Merthyr, is actually Mercha. Hang on, even me has to take a sip for some Welsh words. Okay. Mercha seems to become Merthyr. I know Merthyr means martyr and all that kind of stuff, but it seems to be a much more ancient name, Mercia. This is why we call it hidden history, because someone's changed that name, someone's hidden it. It's not forgotten, it's not neglected, it's been hidden, all right? Just clear on. So you've got Mercia and some of the other places we've shown over the last couple of weeks, and there's some more coming now, all right? So this is the really, really ancient stuff we're talking. So if we look at these points, I'm going to have to jump back and forth between the slides. And another one, if you remember a few weeks ago, we had a place, and I always say this wrong, and I apologise, because it seems to be so many people from our group come from this tiny, tiny place, Mamlihad, it looks like to me. Mamlihad, okay? Mam, the Welsh for mam, for mother. Still to this day, English would say mum, Welsh would say mam. Mamlihad. And this goes back, Ad is the same as Adam, the first man, and then the middle part, Lid, is their progenitor or the seed bearer. So this is to do with the cargo boat and the bringer of life. And Mamlihad, and bizarrely, double bizarre, there's this place up past sort of Abertillery way called Mamlihad. How on earth can that name be Mamlihad? And even more bizarrely, it seems blinking, I don't know, at least 6 members of our group come from this tiny place. So that is whizzy. So I hope they're watching. People like Rob, Zoe, oh, my mind's gone. Our druid, Gandalf, the bearded one, the wisest person in our group. What's his name? Who? He's Robert as well, that's why. He's Bob. Sorry, Bob Morgan. So you got Rob, Bob, and Bob. Don't want to I'm confused. Bob Morgan, I do apologise, Bob. Looking forward to seeing you again. You're going to have to move this side of the 7, though, because you're now in lockdown, aren't you? Anyway, they all seem to be brought up in Mamlihad. So maybe there's something in the air there that gets you interested in this stuff, all right? And I always say it wrong, yes, before anyone corrects me again. So what we got here is Steve's been trying to work out where the centre point is, and then looking for all these Babylonian star names around the edge, all right? So this is the Blorange, which you might know is up by Abergavenny. Stunning views. And I was thinking round there might be a possible place to go for a walk. It's a bit of bit big hills up there, Mike. That's a proper walk, all right? Might depend on the weather a bit. You can die up there. And these other places. So try and bear the map in your mind, because the next place we got, in the same way as we had Mamlihad, we got Mulpa Bilsag, all right? So we're looking for places similar to that. And I hope Steve's given me the full translation. Oh, that looks ugly, doesn't it? So what we'll do, just stay on me 1 second while I pull up. I tried to copy and paste it in a bit of a rush. Right, okay. So we'll go over to my Word. Oh, I wonder if I can actually run this next to the map. Oh, that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Hey, there we go, look at this. Not just thrown together, these shows. Like I'm just giving away the fact that they are, but there you are. Hey, that was good. Set everything's the wrong side. Let's make this, I can't make that smaller. Okay. Alright, so I'll make a right mess of this. You can see everything I've got open there. I'm sure it's probably something secure I shouldn't have on public view. Right, okay. Because all these places are over there, aren't they? Alright, so we got Clydach. And then we got interesting ones then, because you got, and I'll move this around so you can see. I think people who hear of Clydach is quite a well-known place. Now this gets interesting. Carrig Mine, and we've got Taro. So, Steve, this is not finished work, all right? This is just throwing ideas out there. I want to get more people involved and see what you can come up with as well, okay? This is work in progress. This is cutting-edge research. This isn't something that was done 10 years ago and kept under a stone and then brought out, so there you go. This is happening now, and the more people involved, the better, right? So, Carrig Mine, Taro. And Taro, also Trao, Trawaf, Tarav, and that's mean to strike or blow. And then the other one interesting for me here is Garna Eru, Erwan, means to sting, stab, or prick. Now, if we look over here, here's a clue what we're looking for. Because I believe I've got this right, Pabilsag is what's now known as Sagittarius. So we're looking for names connected to bows, arrows, all this kind of thing. And this is the bizarre coincidence comes in, because, just jump back slightly, when this came up, and Steve pointed this out, he's much cleverer than me at these things, He's also mentioned in the discussion that there was arrows nearby, and due to the place name and everything, this could be a very long way of giving an answer. So here's Clonach. So if you look, these are forming a kind of curve, and what we're going to do is produce a map where the whole thing is like one massive curve, all right? So let's get that back on there. Oh, too many things open. Okay. All right, so Blaenavon. So if everyone know what Blaenavon could mean, Blaen is phonetically familiar to Blaenor, which means a prominent person, chief prince, and also ancestor or forefather. So right, now we got the big one here. Mul Pa Bil Sag. So Mul normally precedes the name for God. The Pa depicts two branches, can mean to strike or to beat, and looks a bit like an arrow. And the Bil sign can mean to burn or stinging. The Sag is a human head. So what Steve was thinking, just throwing this out there, that human head we saw on the rock could tie in with this, in a bizarre coincidence. And then we got synchronicity. See, some people don't believe in coincidences. They believe that things happen at the same time for a reason, okay? And it looks familiar to the rock carving in Clonach Gorge, which I think might be the one that was shared on the Facebook group. I'm pretty sure, actually. And then Pabil means ancestral relative. So Pabilsag can therefore mean the chief ancestral forefather. And there's the image there showing him to be part scorpion, horse, bird, dog, and human. Bird, oh yeah. Bird. Where's the dog? Is that a scorpion's tail? Oh, there's a dog there on the back of the head, isn't it? I hope you can see that. Yeah, I'm sharing. Hopefully it's big enough. Alright, so this little snippet there, and that is coming together. And I say look for those Babylonian star names, because by another coincidence, someone asked today, where's Mars? And we do have some ideas about that. So there we go, that's that information. Oop, excuse me, back to me again. Right, how's the conversation going on? Any questions coming up for that?
Who's doing the dishes, Ross?
Who's doing the dishes? Can you hear the dishes? It's not me, is it? So I got to keep talking for another 20 minutes, otherwise it will be me. And guess what? Guess whose birthday it is today? I don't know if is Mummy watching the show? Usually does.
Probably, yeah.
Probably does, yeah. Anyway, happy birthday to Ben Bloin Happis. Mummy must be 22, because she was 21 last year, wasn't she?
Really? I don't know.
Yes, Arnie. Mummy was 9 years old when you were born. Right, okay. Now just going to slight tack here. I know Arnie's not so interested in the really ancient stuff, okay? And I can understand that. When you're 12, whatever, these things aren't the most fascinating. He wants to do more about Arthur and those kind of things. So I do, just to give a little slight break in the show, I'm just going to do, I might have mentioned this last week, but I don't think so, is getting back to an initial comment that came up there about the teaching of history in schools. And I think I did mention the Earl of Cornwall last week, didn't I?
Huh?
I think I got the headphones on with a 30 seconds delay. I think I mentioned the Earl of Cornwall last week, and I put the link on for Wikipedia. So I hope people enjoyed that. Seeing that the Norman invasion was actually a part Breton and Norman invasion, and in some ways was a liberation by the British. Depends how you look at it. But it's our country, we can look at it that way. Positive light.
Saying happy birthday, that's nice.
Yay, happy birthday to Angela, the one who keeps it all going. She does the website, book sales, sends all the stuff out. Dinner. Very good, Arnie. And dinner if we're lucky here. So, if I'm working, I do dinners as well. All right. If I'm not working, so it is a shared thing. But Angie does a lot more of the sharing than I do at these days. Yes, I was going to say some of the histories. I wonder how much and what sort of Welsh history is going to be taught on this new syllabus. Where it's going to start and what's it going to include. For example, the one which comes up almost every day is the idea of Welsh, Scots and Irish being Celtic, all right? I'm not going to go through all again because people on this have heard it loads of times. But there's no link between the Celts, Celtii and Britain. None at all. And I'll throw this challenge out there again to anyone who wants to hark onto that and say, all right, show me a reference before 1710 when Edward Lloyd invented the idea. And I'd love to see it because they're a tribe in southern France. It's just one example. where the history's been changed. A lot of it's happened since 1920s, 30s, all right? So since the BBC really came into being. So it'd be interesting to see what's going to be on that agenda. One thing that struck me last week is that my younger ones, 9-year-olds, are doing a battle at Bosworth, which I was very excited about. And I was saying, oh, did they teach you about what flag Henry VII had? You know, had the Welsh dragon. That wasn't mentioned. And then, because obviously my boys are quite well versed on this, but they do the Merlin's prophecy, where Henry VII said he was the fulfilling the prophecy. He was the red dragon. Richard III, with his white boar logo, which represents a dragon in heraldry, was the white dragon. This would be Wales overcoming England. And of course, he probably went and stitched up Wales, but there you go. That's it. But none of that was mentioned. And then the other thing, to get children interested in remembering, you know, how do you remember Richard III? Well, of course, a couple of ways. One is it's the Cockney rhyming slang and what is slang for. How an Irish person might say his name, and the shorthand for Richard is Dick. People just love it. Children love that kind of stuff. Or but anyway, none of that seemed to got mentioned, or any much of the Welsh history. So one of the things it prompted me to do, as I mentioned last week, I did promise 2 things. One was the hieroglyphs, one was the Welsh thing. I'll do the Welsh thing first, I think. And that is from this old book I've been reading, which is called Prehistoric and Roman Wales. I mean, where to start? The prehistoric means it's before any history, and most of this isn't. Most of it's well recorded. Roman Wales, well, how much of it was actually Roman? And it's Cymru, not Wales. Apart from that, Mr. Wheeler, Mr. R.E.M. Wheeler, hang on, let's get all his letters out. Let's do it properly. Mr. R.E.M. 1925 this book was published, okay? Oh, it hasn't got all his letters there. Anyway, he's got loads of letters after his name. All right, and he was in charge of National Museum of Wales quite a long time, all right? So it's usual stuff. It's got cavemen and all that kind of thing. And there's going to be, I haven't got all the way through the book yet, but there's tons about the Romans. And he loved the Romans, this guy. And one thing I wanted to point out, which I think Richard Davis, my Druid friend, told me a lot of this, is that when they were doing and I have checked it out since, when they were doing, you know, the amphitheatre in Caerleon, said to be a Roman amphitheatre, where they, fought duels to the death, all that kind of stuff. Which never really looks like an amphitheatre when you're there. Not to me, anyway. It seems inappropriate for various reasons, and the stone style and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, moving aside from that, Wheeler was the one who was in charge of excavating it all. And at the time, all the maps and the old stuff shows that circle as being King Arthur's table. It's King Arthur's table and all the maps, everything, the local folklore, everything. This is the one who he got a grant or a payment from his Daily Mail to go and excavate the site, and they paid him quite a large amount of money. Now, because they wanted to find King Arthur's round table, okay? The idea being, it's a round area with terracing all around for people to sit, so you could have public meetings, you could even have court trials, speeches. It's a great place to meet. And being round, you meet as equals, and it fills. So rather than be a table, there could be a table in the middle. Who knows what's in the middle, right? You've got this great big round amphitheatre, and we should come back onto a bit more in a second. The trouble was, Mr. Wheeler, bless him, got a better job to go and work in London, British Museum or one of the London colleges, which he accepted. But he still had this obligation to complete the archaeological dig. So actually he put his wife in charge of that. I don't know how well qualified she was, but she seemed to do a pretty good job, in fairness. But she was the one actually in charge of the dig. And Wheeler himself decided that very early on, not based on anything in particular really, that this site was now Roman. So he'd taken the money on the basis of looking for Arthur's Round Table, decided very quickly on it was Roman, and the whole idea of an amphitheatre comes from him from that moment. Before then, it wasn't considered Roman. So that's quite a new idea. I think when would it be? 1930s? A bit more. Probably. I should have checked these dates first. I wasn't intending to cover this. It's me rambling again. So the dig got finished, but the dig didn't get finished. Because what you will find is the basic round circle, the amphitheatre, has been excavated, but it continues more around the outside. and it would seem the whole thing was a covered area. It's like a massive stadium. Must have been an incredible sight, and much more recent in usage than ending whenever the Romans are supposed to have come and gone. So the whole thing is still a mystery, and I would love to know why they suddenly stopped doing the excavation. They said they're afraid of walls collapsing, but I mean, look at what they've done already. You know, they didn't seem to be showing much fear or respect for what used to be there. So maybe that was Arthur's Round Table. You know, it's none of those ones which is difficult to tell, I guess. We have to find out. But what I wanted to come round to was that the motivation of this chap, Mortimer, well, I should really look up where he's from, shouldn't I? That's a pretty good idea. I should know more about this chap. I don't think he was Welsh, put it that way. Hang on. I'm just going to... it's not what they call research, but for things like this, it's not too bad usually. Is find out where he was from. He had a definite... He was in charge of the Welsh Library, but he did not seem to be Sir Mortimer Wheeler, British archaeologist. Wow, he lived in 1976. He went on, this guy. There he is. Fair play to you, sir. Yeah, he was Scottish. And this is one of the things you will find that... and Al Wilson and Blackett mentioned this a lot. At one point, no one Welsh could be in charge of any of the institutions, whether it's the Welsh Museum, whether it was the Welsh universities, anything. BBC, there you go, to this bit here. He went on to become Keeper of the London Museum, so that was the top job. There we are, I've got it all right, there we go. So he was Keeper of Archaeology. He did what became called the Roman forts with the aid of his first wife. That's a little bit harsh. She actually did most of the dig, okay?
Oh, Dad, you're not on the screen share.
Oh, sorry about that, folks.
Oh, no, you are.
I am, yeah, it's just a lag, yeah, you're just behind. Okay, thanks for letting me know, Arnie. Alright, so there we are. And there's the Wheeler method and all this kind of stuff. And, yeah, you can read all about him, okay? Yeah, he looks the part, doesn't he? Beautiful hand, beautiful moustache, and look at all those letters, that's what I was trying to remember. I don't know what all those things are. But anyway, so we go back to his, this is one of his books, this is 1925, so this is a year before he went to London. I'm not going to go through the whole book, obviously, like I finished reading it all. But what was interesting is what they call the megaliths, which is the stone circles and the dolmens and all that. And I did want to put all these up, and I'm going to share them because there are a few on here. So I want to make sure they are still in existence and they haven't been destroyed since 1925. So I am going to put a list of these pictures up. I want people to check them, alright? I'll just read some of these out. We got Tinkins Wood, St Nicholas, Glamorgan, that's near us, but I don't think it's as much there now as it was in those days. If you're in Denbighshire, we've got Capel Garmon. If you're in the Gower, Parc Le Brios, Anglesey, Plas Newydd, and if you're in Breconshire, you've got Fostilth in Talgarth. So there's one lot. Oop, I mean, knock something off, whatever I knocked down. Oh, it's the Gwyth board. Oh, yeah. This will be available for order this week with my drawing of the stars. Apparently there's a copyright on the stars. Well, it must be a very old copyright. I think the stars are more than 70 years old. There's some great diagrams and information in here, okay? There's a chamber tomb, St. Nicholas. This is one with people to, if you don't read them yourself, send them to me. Any textbooks before 1930, very, very interesting in. So that's what St. Nicholas, can you just see the photos? Oh, hang on. Am I not on share? Ah, man, what's going on tonight? Actually, it's more smooth than usual, so why am I saying what's going on tonight? Oh, you can see it on the screen, there we are. So you want to look at that one?
Yeah, it's kind of hard for this to work. It's so hard behind.
Is it? Alright, that's not working too well, says Arnie. You can't see them. Alright, we'll scan all those in.
No, you can see that. I'm saying it's not working so well.
Oh, the chat.
It's frozen.
Bloody thing's frozen now. Alright, okay, let's not panic. Yeah. Video capture device. Bet that works. Here we go. Learn not to panic. It's one thing doing this. I've learned how it all goes wrong all the time. Don't panic. Okay, alright, we're still going strong. Alright, okay. So you've got some here, Longhouse, Llanrhian, Bryn Gelli. I'll just do a couple more of these, okay? And I'll try and put them all, I want to scan them all in and put them on some sort of feedback. What I want to particularly mention on here was his comments. We've got Plas Newydd in Anglesey. There's loads of places I didn't know about, and I just worry that they disappeared or they've gone. There's Mine Catwg, and this is supposed to be in Gelli Gear. And then we've got Dixie and a few others in Gelli Gear. Okay, if that's still there. And hang on, there's a couple more. But there's a comment in here I want to read in particular, which sums up my concerns, if you like. Oh yeah, there's a couple of things. He points out inadvertently, all right, because this guy was not Welsh, and he certainly didn't want to promote Welsh in any way. But there's a couple of things he points out, which reading between the lines are quite interesting. One is here, talk about differences between Wales and France, which would imply a migration, I would have thought. So, he's talking about, he insists on calling anything with a stone on top a tomb or a burial site. There's going to be a lot of evidence to show they're not burial sites. So it's almost at the end of today's show. So so he talks about the different appearances, broad-headed skulls, stuff like that. Where's the passage I want? Yeah, so applying the problems. So what you have to look at is, he talks about the different problems. In discussion, therefore, distribution of a primitive population. Primitive, he loves words like that. It is necessary to strike a balance between various factors, which again fall into three main categories. Probable method and direction of approach, distribution of land suitable for settlement in the districts approached, and 3, the desirability of such land in relation to the principal occupation, which is hunting, pastoral, agricultural, commercial of the settlers. So there's no mention of mineral wealth or mining or building or trade, none of this at all, as was commercial, touches on it. Applying these principles to the problems of the megalith builders in Britain, and especially in Wales, we are confronted with the following results. Jardin's talking about, oh no, a bit earlier than that, mate. Right, the megalith builders came from the sea, and their primary distribution was coastwise. They came from the sea. It says here they came from the sea. The coastal regions and the uplands of the coastal counties are, generally speaking, free from thick forest growth, although a civilization sufficiently coordinated to build a Stonehenge with materials from Pembrokeshire was doubtless capable of maintaining clearances on a small scale in the woods of the lower slopes. Everything he says in here backs the idea of a migration, that on the coasts they're sophisticated, and even those who seek a purely commercial explanation for the distribution of megaliths are compelled to find very different explanations in different places. And the main thesis that the builders of miners is continually found wanting in Britain. That's megaliths, and he goes on about his obsession with pearls, and he thinks they're just there for pearls and oysters, isn't it? Right, now this is a bit I know it's going to get a reaction. Oh, I can see the comments. Wow, I can see, yes, this did screw. Thank you, Salty. It froze, but we're back on again. And yeah, going back to Caerleon slightly. Robert Pierce, good to see you, Robert. Good to see Lego on there. Surely it must have been the place the real historical Arthur of Caerleon would have held his major court. The field is always known as Arthur's Round Table. Then Wheeler dug up the field as well. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yes, Mortimer did some top work on megaliths and movement of stones. Yes, thank you, Elliot. You're spot on again. And that's summarised a lot in this particular book I'm reading. Lloyd, like 1772, a lot earlier than that, I think 1710, 1714. Arthur is clearly in the records, yes. Some of us are working to tell the Arthur story, yes, with Rob Shaw. Now we get this book out the way, we're going to be the Arthur action historical book coming out soon. Yes, yes, you're quite right, Jordan. It's all been removed. Anyway, this is the bit. This is my crowning thing. I've been trying to say this for 2 weeks. Didn't get time last week. This is worth waiting for, right? It's fantastic. Oh, that's the wrong page, though. All right, I'll read the build-up first, okay? So anyway, he's talking about them as well done, that person there. Someone's well informed, aren't they? Who was that? Knows Elliot Flynn. You're quite right, Elliot. You're very well informed. He does talk about moving his stones. Anyway, this tremendous feat. He's talking about moving the stones all the way to Salisbury. I'm trying to think of the name properly. Anyway, and the transfer of the stone suggests a complete or partial transference. This is interesting, right? The transference of a particularly sacred centre from an older home in Pembrokeshire to a newer home in Wiltshire. So he's not just talking about the stones moving, he's suggesting that there is a religious centre or a circle or something in Pembrokeshire, and the whole cultural religious significance got moved. This is the mainstream, Mr. Mainstream writing this, all right? Mr. The Welsh people just lived in caves, right? And he's saying this. So this inference at first sight conforms remarkably with the suggested eastward trend. Eastward trend. So not coming from Europe, eastward trend megalith builders in southern Britain. On the other hand, it might be argued that the absence of megalithic structures from Brandon and Sisbury is as likely not accidental. And he goes on about no latest stone and stuff like that. But it is obvious that, right? If the builders came originally in search of copper and tin, they were also originally the carriers of Bronze Age culture. So he's saying here they came for bronze and tin and Bronze Age culture, and they've come to Britain, not from east of Britain to west, but they've landed in the west of Britain and moved the other way. I mean, this is supporting, maybe they weren't so defensive in those days, but they are referring to the migration stories here. And then, this is and he talks about migrations in different settlements, standing stones. And I'm going to finish my favourite quote in the whole book, which has got exclamation, exclamation, line, line. I'm sorry, I don't usually write on 100-year-old books, but right, this is the finishing one now, okay? This. I'm going to feel some. Before I say this, actually, I'm just going to say there's a build-up to it. You are like, this is what I meant to put in the description. I'll add this link to the description. Easy to find. Go and have a look at Magnus Magnusson. Remember the bloke used to be on BBC TV? He's Icelandic, funny enough. And he did a wonderful, wonderful interview with Alexander Thom. It's pronounced Tom, but I say Thom because then you remember how to spell it, all right? I remember how to spell it. Spelling's not my strongest point, which is not good for a book editor, but anyway. Alexander Thom meets Magnus Magnusson, or the other way around. Alexander Thom broke away from the mainstream and spent years and years and years and years. He started off mostly in northern Scotland, working out why the stone circles were where they were and how you view through them, and how you can look at solstices and movement of the moon and planets, and phenomenally complicated. And he dates them probably to about 1800 BC, 1800, and he bases that on the things being observed and where they would have been. Doesn't allow for any tilting with other stuff, but anyway. Hang on, oh yeah, people are chatting about writing on books now. Anyway, so apparently no natural resources in Wales, yeah, apart from every metal you could ask for, isn't it? Right, so anyway, all the way up to the Orkney Isles, you can see stone circles, and you can see, they're fantastic. There's a viewing point, then you have like a sight, as I would call it, like a gun sight, and then in the far distance, you'd have a geographic feature, such as a dip in the hills, or a peak, or something like that. And the reason they're so big, obviously, if you draw a line this long, it could be out a lot. If you draw a line 40 miles long and you're a couple of feet out, it's not going to make much difference. So the bigger the better for accuracy, okay? And some of it looks remarkably like, and sorry about the lighting here, the stone circles being found in Wales. And of course, since then, Alexander Thom has got the megalithic yard and megalithic inches, and his research has gone all over Britain and into Brittany, which is where the British went, of course, after going from Wales. There was colonisation taking place there. So what we have is a situation, hang on a second, where this is, you can show with tables and maths and science how they he did wonderful calculations and very detailed mapping, so you can see they were astronomical. Okay, as quick mention, I mentioned the Orkney Isles. I've got a feeling they went there because not Thong with a G, Thom. Was that a joke by Jordan? Not Thong. Sorry, Thom. M for mother. Okay, Thom. Yes, I'll start it off finished. Thom is very well known in these circles. I think it's safe to pronounce his name properly. I like Thom. I got used to saying it now. It's like I say Gnostic rather than Gnostic, and Ptolemy, which is more correct than Ptolemy. But that's another one. Anyway, so what we're going to do. This is the final thing here, right? I'm reading directly, quote from the book. If we leave structural circles such as this on one side, there still remains a considerable number throughout Wales to which no obvious explanation is forthcoming. I'm going to sit for this one. The recognition that in a few cases, certain stones or openings in these monuments were seemingly oriented toward the sunrise or sunset at certain critical moments in the year, such as the summer or winter solstice, has led to a generation of antiquaries to waste much time and ink upon the supposed astronomical properties of these circles. He just calls it a waste of ink. What an arrogant person. Sorry, Al. On the general assumption, which can scarcely be gainsaid, that the circles were directly or indirectly associated with religious practices, it will be quite in accordance with analogy to find that a ritualistic observance of the great seasonal change of so much importance both to flocks and to crops is sometimes indicated in the plan of the monument. Nothing to see here, folks. It's just something about moving your cattle around and, hey, it's going to be summer, because like you wouldn't know it's going to be summer when it starts getting warmer, yeah? It's obviously far more precise than that. So anyway, but Homer nods. This is not ancient Homer. This is the guy from the Ancient Monuments Commission. So Homer nods or winks. Oh, aren't I clever? Discussing the azimuth of a line from a circle to a cairn in Llanbrynmawr in Montgomeryshire. Notes the fact that the line points to the setting sun on St. David's Day is so striking that any other transit is of minor interest. So they find these amazing discoveries and amazing accuracy, and then say, oh well, it lines up on the sun, yeah, and it lines up on midday, and it lines up midsummer, but anyway, nothing to see here, folks, yeah, just one of them things. The same commissioners, on the other hand, point out that a circle at Llanrheidr and Mochnant, in the same county, approached from the east by a well-marked avenue of stones, is surrounded by high hills, and would be quite unsuitable as an observatory. Not one, and this with a Mortimer accent, not one of the Welsh circles has yet been found to conform with any nicety to a convincing astronomical formula. Isn't it marvellous? So because he couldn't work it out and didn't want to find it, he calls the whole thing a waste of ink. And one thing I'd like to say on this there, he does go on a bit more about it, and he says about stone circles and that. But it's fantastic. One thing I noticed, no, I can't say that. Should I mention this? I'll just quickly then. There is one of the academics quoted here is W. Besant Lowe. Now, there's a couple of Besants online who like to troll almost everything we do here. So, are they any relation? Because he's quoting it in like 25. So that would seem to be an old academic family. Oh yeah, this is great as well. He says the rectangular blocks of limestone averaging 3 foot long and rising from 14 to 24 inches above the turf are probably seats or something. Anyway, he thinks he belittles the whole thing. And one thing I'd like to say before we close, because we've just gone past 9 and I've been going way too long the last couple of weeks, is this idea that they're a planting guide. I don't buy that at all. I am the world's worst farmer, so I have tried allotments, all sorts. It's a disaster because they're a regular thing, and I just miss months, which doesn't work very well. And I'll go through the comments in a second because there's loads of them. I was going to say that, this idea that there's a certain day you plant, it doesn't work like that. If you get in a hot year, you might want to go earlier. If it's a dry year, you might want to wait for rain. farmers do not plant the same day every year. If you're an early riser and you get up at 6 o'clock, listen to Farming Today. Possibly the last programme worth listening to on the BBC anyway. I listen to the farmers and they're always talking, like last year was a really wet winter, therefore we're going to have to change.
It's frozen again.
It's frozen again? Ah, it's annoying, isn't it? We almost got to the end. I wonder what happened. Sorry about that. It's weird, it's almost like it gets tired after a while, isn't it? It doesn't seem to have any reason for it apart from it gets tired. So, I can see the comments as well a second ago. Why can't I see them anymore? Ah, here we go. Right, so it wouldn't seem to be a farming thing. It's more to do with, and then again, right back to the beginning, like this show wasn't just thrown together. We go right back to the beginning, and we're looking at this whole thing about the eclipse again. And what was interesting is that it's the other way around, according to Gavin White, that when you think about planting and all that, that's when you look for that in the sky in a more general term. Anyway, that's enough on that for now. There's a good discussion going on. Excellent. I like it. We have nothing wrong with disagreement, gentlemen, ladies. I remember hearing that Stonehenge, this is Ella. Good to have you on board, Ella. I can't remember your name on previous weeks. You made some great contributions. It's a micro model of Preseli Hills. The way that different stones are used in Wiltshire reflects the natural formation of stones in Pembrokeshire. Yes, it's true as well, yes. Some people seem to think it's sunk. I would say David, who I think is here, David Mosley, sorry, he's anglicised. He's really well read and well informed on this. And it's worth looking at. I was going to make a comment about that then. Yes, it is Pentre Even in Pembrokeshire. Yeah, you can see the stones, and there seems to be some shrinkage of stones. And I was talking to Richard Davis again. Thank you for calling. That was great. And have you ever looked at the Battle of the Bean Field? Just throw that in. But one of the things they're looking at there was, they claim anyway, that the stones are a bit smaller because people were chipping away souvenirs. And that's why they had to fence it off, maybe. There was something else I was going to mention there about Alexander Thom. Lost it. Sorry about that. So there's some good discussion going on there. Lighter farming hours. Right, anyway. Okay, well, I'm going to call this to a close in a second tonight. I'm trying to get the shows down to an hour. And I hope people enjoyed that. I was going to do the... come on. Come on. Where did I put the thing on the... reading the... I had something else ready. And I didn't do it last week. I didn't do the week before. And Sean Morgan, if you're watching, I do apologise. I have got the video of going up to the stone up there. Toyne Morgan, actually, isn't it? I got to get that up there. I do apologise. I filmed it and edited it ages ago. I just need to do it. Come on. I want to show the hieroglyphic stone I was going to translate as well. No. Okay. All right. Things are there. It's crammed. Anyway, so I'll just say, please remember to... it's Remembrance Sunday. So Mike Cattig is still there. Thank you. We got more stuff on there. All right, thank you very much. So, in accordance with the end there, it's just a little bit of music. Like I said, the new books will all be going on sale this week, so try hieroglyphics.com. Consider becoming a... I'm just not nowhere with it. I've just run out of steam. Dear. There's so many things, too many things open, as you saw on my computer. And one I can't find that's open somewhere is the... I'm going to play Underground Frustration there. No, we'll have that one. Come on, the Pyramidion. We've got to have a go at translate the Pyramidion. Come on, I have one last chance to find it. Where did I put the blasted thing? Arnie's lost interest anyway. Hey? Yeah. No, I did have it here somewhere, but as you said, way too many things open. Alright, well, look out for the new book. It's going on sale this week, and it should be out being sent out, dispatched, for a week Friday. So if you order before then, you get £5 off. And look for deals and other stuff as well. Because Christmas is coming up, and what better presents for people? I found it. Why did it suddenly go white? That was weird. There we are, I don't know what happened there. Alright, here's the thing I live to spend half my life on at the moment. is Photoshop, so hopefully you don't find the music too annoying. I am, actually. I want to play something different. Oop. Are you on screen share? Why is it when I go create screen share, it does that? That's weird, isn't it? Oh, hello. All right, Zav, yep. Right, okay, so we're just going to give a mention to this here. Hello. Yes, Michael Tomblin, I do apologise. You sent me updates on how the design's coming along for the T-shirt. It's going to be great. For those who don't know, we get some T-shirts, maybe some other stuff. Thanks, hon. Why does it start? I think it just seems to start freezing there. Okay, we need it working now. All right. So thank you, Michael. I'll be getting back to this week, hopefully. And one of the things we're going to have is the idea of, as you know, I was saying, people are starting to say it more often, is the Hebuch for peace, which comes from the falcon, Hebog, and you get Hebog, you get Hebuch. You can look through hieroglyphics, see all that. So I was thinking wings, something like this at the top. I'll see what Michael's come up with. And then the other hieroglyphs that make up Hebuch, which is quite cool. There's a little beetle, which means to search. And, oh my goodness, off the top of my head. Anyway, off the top of my head, I can't remember it. But anyway, it means that the search for peace is good, Hebuch, and it makes a lovely little cartouche. I think people will like that. All right, so we'll try and get some stuff with that one. And if it's not too distracting music, I'll just quick go and translating this. So we got here, this is Watch Over. There's the Power, and then you've got the Striking Cobras. So we've got two of those representing divine power, I would suggest. Then we've got Watching Over the Eyes, Edrich, which we'll come on to. And these are the spoons, Rao. So Tree Rao, there's three of them, is to pass through. And then the curious thing here, with the animals, always point to the beginning of the word. So presumably, we read that away. Can I get a nice big blob to show people? I think I can. There we go. Let's make that even bigger. Nope, wrong way. Hang on. I can't make it any thicker, but anyway, you should get an idea. Here it comes. Alright, so we go that away. So there's the Lord, I think you know, Ragwith. And then something crossed out there, which is really, really frustrating. Because it's something to do with the duty. And the lion's head, which is the chief you are. This is to hold the life in balance. You can see all these hieroglyphics going this way. And there you go. These little pattern you recognise. We got the vegetables, Kenneth, which is his message. Then you got Nahi, the sting. You are, you are. So this is a message to behold about you, or you are. And then you got the power to keep safe. Bow down. And then the line is this place you are. So the power to keep safe and worship in this place you are. Then the balance of, and then you've got this snake saying, not of this life you are, not of this place you are. So life, I don't know why I'm pointing, you can't see my finger, but there's life. The snake is not of, you are this place, which means you're kind of immortal, you're a god. Alright, and I'll do another video going through the whole thing along here, but it does read pretty straightforward, really. Apart from the very first symbol, rather annoyingly. Zoom in there a second. Oh, that's better, isn't it? That'll be much better. Stop, laggy computer. I'm not sure what this single line is. It seems to be under the large snake, which is great, because that's not of, so it's not something. Don't know what the something is. Something not. And then the hare is the ferry, as you've just seen on my punt video. And then the chief is the head, and blah, 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 blah. On we go, and there we go. Message, proclaim, and then keep safe. With practice, trust me, you can learn to just read it. And the second edition will be coming out soon with more ideas and more translations. Might even put this one on, and it'll be available in America. Alright? So, yeah, really I'm going to try and bring things to an end. I know I have a habit of rambling at the end, just so people's ready to go. Which is your favourite track on here, Arnie? Which is your favourite? Because there's one you used to really like. So we used to play the CD in the car a lot, didn't we? Number 5, you think? Sly Eyes?
No, not Sly Eyes, no.
Paradise? Sell Her My Soul?
There's that one that has no singing in it.
The one with no singing? Or is that last one had no singing? That's nice.
Elvis Rocked is alright.
Yeah, that's what we start the show with normally, isn't it? Any requests? I've got to give
Well, there we have it. And there's a little bit more on the end of the video from Ross and family arguing over which track they like because they like them all. Ross mentioned quite a few incredible things in that video, didn't he? Somebody pointed out that Mein Katug is still there. It's featured already on videos that we've had. There's a lot of cup marks in the top of Mein Katug, and one theory, although that was disputed by the rock art archaeologist types who say it's rock art, but one theory was that the cups were connected and you put a new dead body on top of Mein Katug, cut the veins, and the blood then would flow to all the other cups, from his cup to the ancestors. Now, I like that idea, but it wasn't counted as serious by someone who says that's just rock art, that the cups on it. So I forgot to mention earlier on that we had the summer solstice this week, mentioned in Ross's fabulous explanation with the planet and the line of sight for the stars. So how could you have star map in Wales for the southern hemisphere, for example? It could only be there if travellers had been to the southern hemisphere, or maybe the planet was tilted that way at one time. I too am from fairly close to Mam Hillet. So I'll add my name to the list of people from Mam Hillet, along with Bob Morgan and others. But I was actually from Llanhilleth and Brynithel, south of Bryn, and on the mountain below Brynithel, which is very famous in Arthur First's storyline. His brother is buried up the top there by Brynithel Church, in the mound next to the church, brother of Arthur the First. So thank you very much, Ross, and the whole of live show number 25 is in the live show playlist on the YouTube channel. I haven't managed to edit last week's show's recording yet, although I said I would because of all the mistakes I made in it. But I am still planning to do so, and I'll edit this one as well if necessary. Today's chat, I can't see the chat when I'm rerunning, unfortunately. So there's a lot of chat there today. Transverse, lovely words, Stan said that. Yeah, I think there might be a bit too much chat for me to go over today. It's nice to hear from some new people. We had Olivia at the start saying she loved the show. Thank you, Olivia, and you're welcome. Welcome to the channel. David Church got onto this channel on time tonight. I think he's on holiday, I'm not sure. David Mosley pointed out about the hashtag list. It's at the top of the Facebook page. What else have we got here? The eastern origin of the Celtic races, that's Nimble Horse. There's going to be some very interesting streams of chat there. As I say, there's a lot of chat tonight. And thanks very much, David Morse is saying that's an excellent programme. Well, virtually everything Ross did has quality to it. And he thanks me for hosting. Thank you very much, David. It's my pleasure, it really is. I could not see Ross's body of work disappear, and I could not let Wilson and Blackett's work fall apart either, for the want of publicising it. So we're near at the end of the show now, so don't forget that the 3 main big black books have been put onto PDF format, as has Arturius Rex Discovered. I got the paper version just next to me, it was under my iPad. PDF books for purchase on www.cymroglyphics, amongst other things as well. Ross mentioned Gwyddbwrdd game, that's there, and that was new 2 years ago when Ross did this at November the 11th, Remembrance Sunday. Angie's birthday. We'll have to watch out for that one. Don't forget the tickets will be on sale next week for the Bedwas event, a tribute to Ross's life, and lots of people helping out there to deliver lectures and presentations and live music. Well worth the money. Here are the boys again. I've just been reading some of the chat. You learn something every single time on these shows when we get together. And David Church has said that we already know that coastal ewes give birth around higher tides. Isn't that amazing? I never knew that. He's not sure about the mountain lambs because it takes the farmer so long to walk up and find them. Not so long on a 4x4 quad bike nowadays. Destroying the tumps, the burial tumps. Very interesting. That was lovely. So thank you, boys. That was a great way to conclude the show. We'll finish off now so you can say Auf Wiedersehen on the live chat amongst yourselves with one of my friend Stephen J. Preston's music covers. He did tell me what this was. I could have looked it up as well, but I haven't. He's playing, and his band maybe, playing the music which accompanies him riding on his motorcycle, which I thought was quite an interesting little video to run as well. Here it is.
With a bit of a gnarly bend back there, wasn't it? Yeah. Alright? Good. You have to be careful on this now because it's gravelly. So.
He's doing a great job making videos for me, isn't he? You can find his music on his YouTube channel, Stephen J. Preston. So that's it for today. Thank you all for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed our time together, judging by the comments you did. I know I enjoyed it tonight. Thank you to Angela and the boys, and to all the volunteers on working behind the scenes on both the group's media platforms. Quite a lot of volunteers do a lot of work to keep this hidden history open. So it's auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, ciao, nostar, and see you next time. And remember, seek and you will find.
Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed that and found it informative. Britain's Hidden History Group has so much more going on our YouTube channel. The one you're watching now, there's a live stream, 8 o'clock UK time every Sunday. We speak to people like Wilson and Blackett, reprint their old books and help produce new ones. We go researching to the tops of mountains, all the way down to the bottoms of caves. Busily recording the books so you can listen to them as well, and looking at mysteries and working out what we're not being taught in schools and preserving it, because the physical and written evidence is rapidly disappearing. You can also find out how to read ancient writing and hieroglyphs using the Welsh language. It's amazing. There's a Facebook group where this is being discussed. Along with a website, you can buy the books and help us. Also, as you can see, there's now a Patreon page where just a few pounds a month will make all the difference in trying to keep the project going and preserve this history for future generations, and also to find out for ourselves what is going on, what is Britain's hidden history. So until the next time, Heddiw!